public, it would only be questions related to these exhibits that have been offered. Read cross of Mr. Humes on that.
Are there any members of the public that have achieved party status that wish to come forward and ask questions concerning Exhibit T6? All right, for the record, there is no response. Mr. Gunlock, do you have redirect?
Yes. Mr. Hughes, do you recall being at the last hearing and that one of the board members at the end of the hearing asked you some questions and requested copies of plans that were referenced on your operation plan set?
Yes.
And I believe there was also a question concerning a well that one of the board members inquired of you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And finally, I believe there were some questions concerning the length of the fencing. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And since that last hearing, did you prepare a letter to me setting forth answers to those questions and enclosing copies of the additional plans that were referenced on your operation plan set?
Yes.
Okay. I'm showing you a letter dated January 29, 2019 from you to me with a number of attachments. Does this letter reflect responses to the ZHB members' questions that I just described to you?
Yes.
Are you marking this, Rob?
Yes. Let's mark this as A28. Dan, why don't you just walk through the letter for the members of the zoning hearing board who have questions regarding these topics and reference any attachments that you have.
The letter is bulleted. It may be easier to follow along, but in response to the specific questions that I was asked, we've attached, or I've attached the plan sheet reference that as plan reference note 2 on Exhibit A9. The plan shows the overall boundary of the lands comprising the quarry property and adjacent parcel information. That is That is the plat of survey of lands of general crushed stone prepared by Orangeville Surveying Consultants, the first attachment, first 11 by 17, you can see there. Signed and sealed by surveyor. Attachment number 2, bullet point number 2, are plan sheets referenced in plan reference note number 3 as requested on sheet 1 of 10 of my exhibit A9. The plan generally shows overall aerial view of the property from the early 1970s, buildings and improvements of the property, including offices, garages, scales, primary crushers, stone processing plants, and the hot mix asphalt plant. That is the property map. The second 11 by 17 you'll find prepared for the General Crushed Stone Company, dated May 1973 by Skelly Wood.
So these are sheets 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 6, correct?
correct. It's the North PA RR Railroad Plan dated June 28, 1974.
What does that show?
That shows the stone crusher, cement tower, scales, miscellaneous buildings, rail lines onto the property, the proposed barricade and flashing lights at the rail crossing.
Paragraph 4 of your letter references another plan. Can you describe what that plan shows?
That plan is the second to last sheet of this packet. It's the Reading Company North Pennsylvania Railroad plan prepared in 1974. And again, as I just described, it has the stone crusher, the cement tower, the scales, rail lines.
That's paragraph 3 of your letter,
I
correct?
apologize. Yes, that's paragraph 3.
Now we're going to paragraph 4, which is the last plan sheet, correct?
That is correct.
And what does that show?
Generally, it shows the office, scale house, and existing gates onto the property at corridor.
You reviewed each of these plan sheets,
Yes, I did.
and you agree your letter accurately reflects what you observed on those sheets.
Yes.
Paragraph 5 of your letter references and is in response to a question regarding fence length. Can you describe to the board your findings on that topic?
Certainly, the operation plan set that we estimated and proposed approximately 2,150 feet of fencing. The estimated overall property boundary is approximately 28,324 feet. And if you just look at the mining area itself, that boundary is approximately 10,037 linear feet.
There was also a question regarding an on-site well. Did you do some preliminary investigation about the well?
I did. I looked at the well. The well was identified on the Pennsylvania Groundwater Information System website. I provided the link here, and ultimately it is PA well ID number 6970. It has a total depth of 1,250 feet below the ground surface and a casing diameter of 6 inches. And it appears that the well was installed in 1903.
And the source for that information is set forth in your letter, correct?
Yes,
You didn't do any independent investigations other than what's referenced in your letter, correct?
correct.
And then finally, paragraph 4 was the photos that we just reviewed by Mr. Armstrong.
That is correct.
Now, do you also recall a question at the prior hearing about a portion of the property that I believe is behind Mr. Gutschall's house that at one time you testified was located within the mining district and now is no longer located in the new name of the mining district, which is the extraction district?
Yes.
And did you put together a plan that showed those 2 lines in that area of the property?
Yes.
You mark as Exhibit A29.
Is that part of what we got in the email today, Rob?
I'm not sure if you received this letter. I think Dan had some technical problems with the emailing of the plan. Did you receive the Van Cleef letter of January 29th?
I have a letter from his office dated the 29th, but I haven't seen what you're handing out.
Okay, let me hand that out.
Are there 2 letters of January 29th?
Yes.
I only have one.
I'll mark this second letter as A29. Do you recall at the prior hearing being asked some questions as to the different zoning lines?
Yes.
And recall some testimony you provided regarding the original mining line when the first zoning ordinance was adopted in 1970,
Yes,
and that line was changed in 1986.
yes.
And what was it originally called?
It was called the mining district,
And what did it change to in 86?
the extraction district.
And at our client's request, did you perform an analysis as to the different locations of those lines in proportion to the Rockhill Quarry?
Yes.
And what did you find?
As my letter indicates, I found that the original mining district encompassed additional parcels, including tax map parcel 12-9-16 and 12-9-18 specifically, which were then eliminated as part of the 1986 zoning change.
And the area behind Mr. Gottschall's house, what's the approximate size of that area that was eliminated from the mining district?
As my letter indicates, 6.19 acres is the approximate area.
And does this plan accurately, in your professional opinion, reflect the mining district line, which was changed and renamed in 86, the extraction district zoning line, which came into fruition in 86, the mining support area, and the limit of mining area?
Yes.
Did you also review an aerial plan from 1981 as to the 6.19 acre area behind Mr. Gottschall's house, which you just testified was rezoned, as to whether that was actively used for quarry purposes in 1981?
Yes.
And what did you discover?
Objection, basis for this testimony from a civil engineer. He said on the record, he isn't an expert in excavation, quarry, mining. He wants to get this testimony limited, I'll be with somebody who knows about quarry.
I'm going to overrule it. You can answer that. You reviewed this photograph that Mr. Gunlock has in front of him?
That is correct.
Go ahead.
What did you discover?
Based on the 1981 aerial that we obtained from the PASDA website, we discovered, after overlaying it, that the processing area that we've been looking at all along is well within the mining permit limit as shown on my exhibits A9 and have been shown since a year ago.
Do you have the picture that he just referred to?
I was asking him about an aerial that he obtained.
Right, does he have it for us to look at and cross-examine with?
Yes, but it
Can
was
we have
coming
it,
in,
please?
well, it's not coming in now, it's coming in under my next witness, Andrew, as part of all of his exhibits. Andrew was not available tonight, so we have to take the witnesses out of turn here, but I will provide you with a copy.
Motion to strike testimony. Based on fact, not the record. He's giving you a conclusion.
All right. Hang on.
Like that?
The fact is, in testimony, I asked him if he reviewed an aerial plan from 1981.
And as an expert, he can give testimony regarding things that are not exhibits and are not in evidence. But we have an exhibit here, and he reviewed that exhibit. So the question becomes, why not just introduce the exhibit to him?
Mr. Humes, did you, at my request, source a 1981 aerial photo of Rockhill Quarry?
Yes.
And where did you source that aerial photo from?
The PASDA website.
What's the PASDA website?
I don't recall specifically, the Pennsylvania Association of Spatial Data Access.
Is that commonly used by engineers in your profession?
Yes, it is.
Is it commonly used by the township engineer?
Yes, it is.
Did you review some aerial photographs that the township engineer prepared as part of this case?
I did.
Did he use those same source aerial photos?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
And did I ask you to simply take the existing lines that were contained on your A9 plan set and to supersede them over a 1981 area plan?
Yes.
And did you do that?
Yes.
We'll mark as A30, a 1981 aerial plan prepared by Van Cleef Engineering. Mr. Humes, in looking at this plan, what does the dark orange line on the plan depict?
The surface mining permit boundary, noted as SMP boundary,
And what does the light orange line depict?
the 1970 zoning district, mining district,
And what does the white dashed line depict?
the current extraction zoning district.
The area that you described as being behind Mr. Gottschall's house and comprising approximately 6.19 acres. Would you point that out to the members of the board? That plan.
Certainly, the area is depicted here, the dark orange line to the white dashed line.
Is that approximate of a square?
Approximately, yes.
And does that plan show that that area of the 6.19 acres was disturbed for quarry purposes as the remainder of the site?
Yes.
And is that area located within the limits of the mining permit area?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Mr. Armstrong, do you have questions?
Yeah, my understanding is Mr. Humes, I wasn't aware he was going to be this is significant redirect. I thought we were coming back with some recross with respect to photographs. This is testimony that was not presented on direct. I do have some cross on the recent testimony as well as exhibits A30 and A29 specifically. What is the time frame for Mr. Humes? I don't know. I believe there was an email that was circulated as to him having to leave at a certain point tonight. I'm not going to be done in 2 minutes, and I don't know if Mr. Crafton or Mr. Freed will be done in that time either.
Does he need to leave, Rob?
Yes, there's another hearing he has to go to, so
So what time does he need to walk out? Now?
7 o'clock.
Can you bring him back next year?
Either next hearing or the hearing after, depends on schedule.
All right, then we'll hold off on cross-examination altogether with respect to these exhibits. All right, thank you, Mr. Humes. You're excused for tonight. Okay, right before you go, though, on Exhibit A30, can the zoning hearing board just get clarification as to what the SMP boundary line stands for?
Certainly, I noted it as SMP boundary as in surface mining permit.
Thank you.
I have one other question. Could you once again confirm the property behind God Shall that we took over from? Just wanted to make sure I'm looking on A30 is the upper left orange square, and A29 it would be the upper left green square.
I can come over and point it out if you'd like. Yes,
If
it
you
is.
don't mind, if it's okay with me. Yes, this is 2000.
That is correct. The area noted here in the 1981 plan is the same area here.
Same area here.
Same area here noted on the 1970 exhibit.
Which is A29. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Humes. Mr. Gunlon, do you have another witness? You need a break?
Take a few minutes, I can set up.
Sure. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute recess at this time for the next witness.